So Sarah Palin apparently still stinging over the Katie Couric interviews, because when Mario Lopez, the intrepid reporter for Extra, asked her about it, Katie Couric's show being canceled. Well, she was a little bitter. On the issue of karma, she said, "I certainly believe that what goes around comes around." Okay, what went around? I mean, she asked you what papers you read. Okay, yeah, she then went on to tell Mario Lopez that it wasn't that she was gloating over Katie Couric at first losing her job as the lead anchor at CBS and then losing this talk show that she had, but it was her friends saying, first CBS then ABC. Isn't that interesting? Then she told one of our top reporters in the country, Mario Lopez, the ratings were going in the tank with her as one of the head honchos there in the newsroom at CBS. And then it didn't surprise me, her other move, things weren't going real well there either. By the way, I take little shots at Mario there because the interview was ridiculous. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, is this karma for Couric?" I mean, after what why are you kissing up to her? I know he's not going to ask a tough question in Extra, but why are you helping her with this ridiculous thing? Now, if you're not sure about who was right and wrong about the Katie Couric interview that with Sarah Palin during the 2008 elections, that is it, as Sarah Palin, the conservatives describe it, like an ambush with gotcha questions, as Sarah Palin keeps calling them? Let me remind you, let me show you the two questions that people talked about the most, that they were big gotcha questions. Here's one.
When it comes to establishing your worldview, I was curious, what newspapers and magazines did you regularly read before you were tapped for this to stay informed and to understand the world?
I've read most of them, again, with a great appreciation for the press, for the media.
But what one specifically, I'm curious that you...
all of them, any of them that have been in front of me over all these years. I have a vast variety of sources where we get our news to. Alaska isn't a foreign country where it's kind of suggested. It seems like, wow, how could you keep in touch with what the rest of Washington, D.C. may be thinking and doing when you live up there in Alaska? Believe me, Alaska is like a microcosm of America.
Oh, you see that tough gotcha question? What newspapers do you read? You know, the funny thing is, it's actually a softball. It's like, if somebody asked me, what newspapers do you read? I'd be like, oh, that's only the easiest question I've ever been asked, right? Like, if you're in Alaska and you keep up with all the papers, why can't you name one? Just say Washington Post, say New York Times, say USA Today, say anything. You nitwit. Okay, I'm sorry, here's another gotcha question.
What other Supreme Court decisions do you disagree with?
Well, let's see. There's, of course, in the great history of America, there have been rulings that there's never going to be absolute consensus by every American, and there are those issues, again, like Roe v. Wade, where I believe are best held on a state level and addressed there. So, going through the history of America, there would be others, but
can you think of any?
Well, I would think of any, again, that could best be dealt with on a more local level. Maybe I would take issue with, but as a mayor and then as a governor and even as a vice president, if I'm so privileged to serve, would be in a position of changing those things.
Gotcha. Can you name any Supreme Court decision you disagree with? I mean, look, I'm apparently a little bit better versed than she is. I might look. She's not going to go with Citizens United. I might have gone in that direction, right? Let alone Bilotti. You can go. Okay, but I don't expect her to say that. Did you disagree with Plessy versus Ferguson? I mean, I don't know. Name anything, dude. Forget it. Don't put a name. Just say the one. The one in Connecticut where they took land and the government shouldn't have done that because that's private land. That's fair. That's a Supreme Court issue. And anything. It's like saying, can you name a U.S. congressman? Oh, here we go with the gotcha questions. You're running for vice president. Okay, but you see, karma for Katie Couric. Her show got canceled. Whereas Sarah Palin still has a show. In fact, that's why Mario was talking to her. Her new show on Sportsman Channel is Amazing America with Sarah Palin. But if you actually watch the interviews, she kind of is amazing. So if all they did was go around and ask her questions, it would probably be appropriately titled Amazing America. Except they should change it to M-U-R-I-C-A, I think. America. Amazing America with Sarah Palin.